So how should you learn programming? Well, when you read something and when you look at YouTube tutorials and courses, you sort of understand how things are done. Reading puts the information and understanding in your brain, in your head. To get it out, actually, it's much more important, because on your job, daily job, you will not only be expected to understand how some code works, you need to make some code. And to do that, you need to get the information outside of your head. So there are two different processes. One that is putting the information in your head so that you know what can be done, and the other is to know how to do it. That is basically you getting the information outside of your head. And that is what you need to train. You need to train to retrieve the information, to get your knowledge outside of your head and put it through the keyboard on your computer, and to write programs like that. You can watch as many YouTube videos as you like, or watch as many YouTube courses as you like, but you need to practice, actually to practice writing code to get it done. Because it will be difficult. It's like learning to ride a bicycle or a motorcycle. You can read and understand it very easily by watching some YouTubes, but when you sit on it, it's a completely different story. You need to practice, you need to get the retrieving of information so that your brain is used to doing the actual programming. So you need to learn how to learn. You need to get those learning habits correct, because there is so much to learn in development that you will most likely be learning through entire of your career. And that is a good thing. It means that you will not get bored on your job. But you need to get into that habit of constantly learning, constantly researching, and constantly doing things. So it helps that you know what works for you. I am, for example, a visual learner. I almost have to see what we are talking about or what somebody is trying to explain me. Either it's a code or a functionality or something that needs to be done. I can visualize it in my head, and that helps me a lot. You already most likely know what is your type of learning, but be focused on that and try to work on it. Get your routines settled. And what I talked about, fetching the information from your head, that is actually an active recall method of learning, and it's proven that it's most efficient way of learning by retrieving the information from your head, because you are actually forcing your brain to think about what you are trying to accomplish, and that the brain will, by retrieving that information, it will make some connections or whatever the brain does. And you can check some YouTubers about it. I've seen a good video from Ali Abdal. He talks about active recall and how effective it is and how effectively to use it. But the main premise is that in order to remember something, you need to retrieve that information, and you sort of need to retrieve it on a regular basis. But when you work, it will often happen. But the more you retrieve it, the more permanent it will be, the better you will know what you're doing. You will learn better. So a strategy and a goal is very important when you're learning something, because you sort of need a plan. You need to know how are you going to get somewhere, and you also need to know what your goal is, where are you trying to get, so that you know how close you are to your goal and when have you actually achieved it. But be sure to plan about how are you going to get there, and also know when are you actually there, so that you can follow your progress. And I personally think it's best to pick some project that you're actually going to do on your work. You can either find some company and some projects that you sort of like and try to imitate that, or set a plan or pick a project and then continue working towards that project, because that will give you a lot of benefits. The first and foremost is that you will be focused on what you need to learn. As I mentioned, there is really a lot to learn, and you can easily drift away learning everything. You will never get to know everything, but you need to get into that process of retrieving the information and finding the relevant information. By having a project, you are as close as possible to the real job. You are researching, you are documenting, you are changing, your project is alive. Even if you never finish it, just have a project that you are a bit of passionate about. It will also motivate you because you want to finish it, right? And when you work on it, then you will reach the goals much easier, and you will be more motivated to progress, especially when you see some progress that you've already done. That can help you a lot. As mentioned, there is really a lot to learn. So having a project will keep you focused on the modularity that you are learning for that project, for example, login and sessions and the databases, etc., etc. So you'll be taking a step of each of those. And when you start working, if you're not working already, you will basically do the same thing. You will get a project, you will get a task, and you will research, come with the suggestions, come with the examples, and continue working towards it. Keep things simple when you're working it. Choose one project or one book or one tutorial and keep with it. Get as far as you can with it. You can of course take 2 courses. That's my favorite way of learning new technologies. I would get two courses, one that's more theoretical and one that's more hands-on or practical. Something like let's build a CMS or let's build a project using this technology. And what it does is that you can switch between the theory and the practical work, and you can still keep things interesting while still working on one specific subject, and you will supplement what you learn in theory with what you're learning in practical examples, and then you can connect it in different ways, because every teacher explains things on different ways. Each course is a bit different, has a different perspective, and something might click better with you than others. And since I mentioned courses, you should watch so that you don't get stuck into that course mayhem, because watching courses is one thing. You are following somebody else's work, you're doing what somebody else is telling you to do, and it's like driving behind someone else's. You can just follow him and sort of switch off your brain and just do exactly what he does. But it might be difficult when you sit alone and you need to drive yourself, or you need to make a project yourself. Then you are sort of expected to know what is the next step. That's why I also think that a personal project is very beneficial. Because if you think about it, when you are following someone else's code or someone else's example, there is not that much of problems that you will encounter, because the person in front of you is sort of solving or avoiding them at all. You need to be able to solve your own problems, because the programming making project is basically like 80% of problem solving. You are all the time solving some problem, either the problems that you made or that client gave you, but you are helping someone by solving their problems as well. So you need to get into that resource finding, and you need to get into that problem solving mind. And it's very beneficial to be surrounded with people who can help you with solving the problems, or being surrounded with people who can do what you are trying to accomplish. People who have already done it. Find a mentor of a kind that will help you a lot. Or if you start working in some company, then of course it's much better if there are colleagues already that can help you with something that you're trying to solve. I met two guys when I started learning programming who were already into it, and they were working, they had some clients, and I just talked to them, asked them, what is the best approach? How can I learn things? And I was lucky enough that they had some projects that are lying around. If you think about it, each and every company and developer today has a project that are lying around, and they just don't get to work on them. So you will not get anything mission critical, but you might get something that can help you continue in the right direction. I, for example, got a calendar module, and I think I made like 5 calendar modules in my career, and each time I made a new one, and each time I improved it a bit, and each time I did a research on why is this one better than the previous one. And if you ask me now to make a calendar module, I will most likely start from the beginning, because a lot of has changed, both with the writing code, but also with my perspective and my way of thinking. And you need to get into that habit of changing and learning things and doing things on different way as well. And I think that's why it's important to be resourceful, to have that learning strategy, but also problem-solving strategy. You need to know what to Google for in order to get the solution. You need to recognize if the solution is good enough. That is also part of learning. You need to learn how to find the solutions. You need to learn how to get the resources, how to sort the resources that you found based on how much they apply to your problem. You're perfecting all the time, you're learning small things. Just the example that I mentioned about riding motorcycles, you can ride it for years and still be learning some new things and new tricks. So you need to get into that learning habit and learning methodology that suits you well. Since I mentioned motorcycles, by the way, we are here in the beautiful fjords of Norway, in the Hardanger Fjord, and we are just driving around, camping, chilling, bathing, enjoying the beautiful Norwegian summer. Being motivated helps a lot with this, because chances are that you will get tired of all the problems, and as soon as you solve something, the other thing will pop up, and so on, and it can get very frustrated. But it's a part of doing things right. You're actually doing things right by solving problem one after another. So you need to learn how to solve problems and learn new things, because you will be doing that all the time. You will solve problem after problem after problem. And you need to be motivated in the beginning. You don't need to be focused on making a perfect code in the beginning. Just write whatever works for you and whatever keeps you motivated. Just try to get a bit closer to that goal, because you will be doing that all the time, and it's something that you need to know. So knowing your motivation, knowing why do you want to learn that, why do you want to program that, what do you want to achieve? Is it you want to buy something? Do you want to change your career? Do you want some freedom? Do you want What is that you want? Can you print it out? Can you put it on paper? Can you write it down? Can you print it on your wall and stick it on your wall so that you know what motivates you? What is that will keep you up at night and force you to find the solution for the problem you have? My personal motivation is independence, as I can work pretty much as a developer either for a company, or I can work for myself, or I can mix things and work for both myself and the company. But the main point is that independence. I remember when I was studying electronics and I was working in a local cafe, and my landlord, he basically took some days off from work to work in his backyard because he's a welder and he makes refrigerators and basically everything from the metal, and he's very skilled at it. But I remember he took the days from work off, and the boss came and begged him to come to help him for something, and he just said, no, I cannot, I will work on my thing and you have to wait. In my family, to be honest, it was unthinkable to tell your boss that he has to wait because you have some personal matters. And I immediately recognized how much freedom he has because he is very skilled at what he does and he's not that easily replaceable. Development is something I got interest early on, and I just continue working with it and just continue learning with it. And now I work as a developer, and it's a blessing. I cannot be happier with the job I have. So having that freedom where the internet is also part of technology and the web development basically makes it so that entire world is your market. You can work wherever you wish. You can work for whoever you wish to. If you are good at it, you have to put a lot of effort into it. But there is a freedom, there is independence. If the company doesn't suit you, you can change and work for yourself. You can change and work for some other company. And you will often feel down, you will lose motivation, you will feel like you're not progressing. But there is no reason not to progress. You have to learn it. It's a huge thing to learn, and I understand that. But it's also something that can be done. You just need to sit and put your time. So don't take complicated projects, just keep it simple. Don't worry about code quality, just do something so that you see your progress, so that you can show it to friends, so you can show it to your colleagues or to your boss or to your future boss or whoever you care about, your parents, your family. Just have something to show because it will keep you motivated when you see the people's reaction. Making things, it's my passion. I enjoy starting with the right paper and then watching the expression of people when they see something that I've made, either a video, a blog, or photography, or even something, a shelf that I made, whatever. But same with code, with the websites. When you start with nothing and you make the website and you see people around it and they click and things happen and things behave, you've made something. You should be proud of yourself. Track your goals, have your strategy on place, and just take small steps. Don't care about code quality in the beginning. You don't have something to compare it with. You don't know how good your code is before you are on a certain level. You will most likely be embarrassed of your first code. I know I am, even from the code from last year I wrote. You're progressing all the time and it will just be better from this point. Today you are the worst programmer ever. You can only get better at this. And my 3-year-old boy understands this. When he sees that something is difficult, he gets frustrated because he cannot control his emotions. But he sits on the bicycle, for example, and he tries again and again and again and again, and he sets the smaller goals to drive just a bit further, to drive just a bit longer. And then at one point when he started driving, he was so proud of it because he could ride the bicycle on his own. And that's a very good feeling. And that's how we learn. That's how we learn to walk, to talk, to eat, to do anything basically, by taking small steps at a time and just being motivated. When you see that somebody else has done it, you can do it as well. There is no reason it cannot be done. There is nothing stopping you except for yourself. So have a strategy, have a goal, pick your battles, and just keep doing it. If you put enough time into it, you can learn the programming. I hope that this video helps you somehow. Please write me a comment and subscribe, and see you in the next video.